Hey, come here. Take a seat, put your feet up. Here, grab a glass. Yeah, let me pour you some divinity while we listen to what happened last time on the Incorrigible party.
Sneaking around the rest of the abandoned orc settlement, the party finds a perfectly formed hole in which Shaft descends to retrieve the gauntlets of Kalar. Avoiding further conflict with the basilisk brood, they find a safe place to camp for the night, outside of the tower's sphere of influence.
Wondering if we'll see Ape Czar in this episode? Me too.
Next and final watch for Mia.
So I'll go over and sort of lightly nudge her with my foot and go, your turn.
Okay.
And then sort of fall right down on a roll over.
Okay. Man, I feel so much better right now. Because, am I fully rested or I need the last 2 hours too?
Yeah, you do need these last 2.
Right. I sit up and I pull off my pendant of legendary actions. And I look at that, and I look at the cube, and I look at that, and I look at the cube. And I look out at the blue light, and I think I decide to attune to the cube. Put the pendant away for now.
Okay, wow.
I could wear it, but... Well, see, if I were to put anything on that pendant right now, it would be the pendant of mediocre actions. So, it's just not worth it. Next long rest, I could change it over or something, but... I'll wear it, but I'm not going to get its benefits, And I'll just pass my watch by attuning to this cube of whatever.
Okay, so that's the first hour. For the last, I'll take a perception.
14.
You too, growing accustomed to the ambient surrounding noises, especially of the night. Beginning to recognize many of them, recognizing the ones that, you don't need to pay so much attention to versus what may be something worth investigation. And because you bed down so late, the sun has already began to rise. So the sun rising behind your position, right, to the east, like a normal sun would.
Oh my god. You're gonna have to redo that. Alright.
That's how it works on this flat Earth.
Aspara,
Now you're
where
still
the sun rises in the west,
Flat Earth.
sets in the east.
Sometimes it doesn't rise at all.
Will the sun rise?
You're in the shadow of this peak, right? And now though in west, looking westward out, you essentially you're looking into the middle of kind of this circle of the peaks, like the 3 largest named ones in addition to the smaller ones that you're around. And you can see as the sun is rising during your watch and the rays kind of almost battling, but no. So the blue light is kind of also serves as something that would block the rays of the sun, right? So it almost, in certain areas, because it too, even from your position, it too looks like it is like a sphere of influence. So it casts its own kind of shadow, especially as the sun is just beginning to rise. But you can see, though, the rays of sun hitting deep down into this valley, what looks like to be a very large and significant frozen lake. This is kind of the terrain, right? So you can see you're in amidst a copse of trees, and kind of maybe more the thinning part. You can see down the slope of your vantage point, right? You're kind of getting a lay of the land that you didn't get in the middle of the night, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I see all that fresh powder. I just want to go for a ride.
Too bad we don't have Boots here with us, down on a shell.
Oh yeah.
But in a kind of in amidst the sunlight and the view, as the sun begins to rise and hit the snow, there's kind of the crackle of the warmth, right, of the sun and against the powder itself. Kind of amidst the almost this resurgence of noise and natural activity. You hear what sounds like clashing weapons and very distant yells.
West.
Pinpointing the direction is difficult. It's almost like you're getting the tail end of an echo.
Where were we meeting? Cultists? Was it that direction?
It was going to be southwest.
You're going to be traveling southwest to get to him, yeah.
And that I can't tell that that's where it came from.
You're not 100% sure. But you do have pretty good visibility, like, northwest, right?
Right.
It clearly doesn't look like there's any activity down near the lake.
Okay, I'll look where visibility is good. Do I see anything?
No, again, no. From here, you can't pinpoint what is making this noise.
Okay, well, I'm not leaving the hut to investigate anything till our watch is done. Just 1 hour left. Might as well sit it out. Do I hear it throughout the whole watch, or?
Well, you hear kind of you hear the sounds of a brief skirmish.
Okay, it's over then by the time my watch is over?
Oh, yeah, it's over very quickly.
Okay. Guys, we gotta go. Everyone wake up.
What's going on?
It's been long enough. You should feel rested. I don't know. The sun is up. Did you guys hear anything on your watch? Because on mine there was some sort of... I heard some weapons and like a skirmish of sorts.
You heard a fight?
Yeah, I couldn't tell where it was.
Well, I mean, which direction?
No idea.
You couldn't... What it sound like?
Like weapons.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to do anything. We were just so close to being finished with our rest.
How long ago?
Like within the past hour.
All right, I put my boots on. All right, we're going to have to go see where the hell that is. See if we can track where this came from.
Why? Why do we need to go towards it?
So we can avoid it. We don't want to walk into it, wherever they are. I'll find out where they are, what they went, and then we'll go another way.
Why not just cautiously head in the direction we plan to go?
We will be going that way. If I run into any tracks, we're going to have to reevaluate.
Okay.
Sure. I want to go hunting for these skirmishers.
Okay, so did we benefit from a long rest?
Yes, you have gotten in your long rest.
Yay!
Woo! Your temporary hit points are lost.
Could you roll me a weather die, please, Mia?
8.
So yes, Mia, as you're kind of waking everybody up after you've all benefited from your long rest. As you're kind of discussing, Shaft certainly knows how quickly the weather can change in the mountains, and the sun that is shining into this valley, kind of very very quickly as you're beginning to move in the direction to meet with Samuel. This low-lying fog sets in, severely hampering your visibility. Now, due to Shaft's ranger abilities, it is impossible for you to get lost here. So that's not going to be a problem finding your way, continuing the way you want to go. But due to this fog, visibility is reduced to 30 feet, and any perception checks based on hearing are made a disadvantage.
Okay, you're going to have to bundle up. It can get really cold really quick here. It looks like it's going to be hard to see where we're going, but I think I know the way.
Yeah, I'm glad we have you, Shaft. The weather really turned overnight.
Up here in the mountains, you never know what's going to happen. We don't want to screw around too long. You can easily get lost, so stay close. Stay within a few feet of me.
So Falzarin's gonna pull his winter weather gear tightly around him, sort of covering up the majority of just his eyes peeking out.
I will bundle Sparky into my cloak and keep him nestled close.
My metal armor is so warm right now.
So we're not heroes feasting this morning or anything like that?
Do you guys want breakfast or?
I mean,
I think we best be
we want to
off.
get these damn gauntlets to Samuel.
I know it takes an hour.
I do not think we have time for it this morning, as nice as it would be.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
I got some dried beef here if you want some. I mean,
Thanks.
well, you just knock the little white crispy parts off and it's still good. No?
I'll
Falzarin?
take a piece and feed it to Sparky.
Maybe a bit later, Shaft. Thank you, though.
Sparky won't eat. Not even Sparky will eat it.
Here, put it close to your skin. It warms it up and it tastes better. All right.
I think I'll fast.
Pull out
Let's
some of my
go.
own rations, which are still good and not full of mold, and eat while we walk. Are we riding or walking? And I'll gesture to Buttercup.
I'd prefer if we ride.
Same.
Climb on Buttercup.
Do you think we can stay close enough to each other? I guess we could try.
Yeah, we'll just ride right next to each other. It's gonna take a little more time, but I think it's gonna be hard to see where that fighting was from. You
Don't
can't
go
hardly
looking
see
for it.
anything.
Just stay together.
I just don't want to come up on something if we can avoid it. But yeah, let's go.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
Sort of head across the northern side like we discussed before, and then head down in a southwesterly direction, trying to avoid any steep slopes or anything that's going to, cause a lot of
Avalanche?
issues.
While we travel, I'll ask Shaft. So, what do you think will happen once we give him the gauntlets? Like, what are we gonna do, you guys?
I mean, he still needs another piece, right? I'm sure he'll send us on our way.
It was supposed to be exchange the eyes for the gauntlets.
I know, what are you gonna do when you get your eyes?
I don't think he will be giving them to us.
Aren't they powering the tower?
Yes, he needs the tower.
So, deals off?
I do not know.
This is weird.
I suppose we'll find out when we talk to him.
So if he sends us after the last piece, we're going for it? I don't know. I hate the Niyogi. It's just, all these thoughts are coming to me.
It is what he says he needs to defeat them.
I mean, you guys have been telling me for a long time he's trustworthy enough to kill off the Niyogi.
I have to believe that.
I'm not totally convinced that I trust him, but I don't know that we have a better alternative.
I
That's the
trust him to
problem.
kill the Niyogi. That's it.
And what's next? If he defeats the Niyogi, what does he do next?
Well, that is what concerns me, Shakara.
That's for future us to figure out.
I don't know. I don't really like that plan, but I don't know what other one we have.
I don't either. I just wanted to say it. Like, if this was in exchange for the eyes are running the tower. Like, there's just a lot going on.
You make a good point, Mia.
The eyes are probably best left where they are, for now.
Yeah, it's protecting the front lines, honestly.
And staying out of Isabella's hands.
Right, Isabella. Frick.
I keep moving
Yeah,
moving
this is
forward
just
on the
travel
broom.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, as we're talking, do I see anything as we go along that, like any kind of animals or anything that I'm sort of trying to keep a closer eye? I'd normally expect to see. Is it still barren?
Shaft, what do your halfling eyes see?
Something that will wear out our resources before we reach the front line.
I was hoping we were going to stumble across some snow blooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
We're not on Mount Necrosis.
that is correct. So remembering that the fog is limiting your vision to 30 feet around you, you can certainly make me a perception check.
Okay.
All of us or just Shaft?
You can all make me perception checks.
Is that with disadvantage? Because is that what did you say that before?
Perception checks based on hearing are at disadvantage. So you can certainly be peering at, the limited visibility that you have. Absolutely, that's fine.
14 for me.
23 for Shakara.
12 for Falsey.
15.
As you're progressing in your immediate vicinity, you don't see any sign of animal tracks again, you're kind of in an area of light vegetation, light like forestation, and you're not. Well, if you want to listen for those, you'll have to make your checks with disadvantage. But you're not seeing any signs of wildlife.
Hey, keep an eye out. Something's weird here.
Is it usually so sparse?
Well, I mean, you would see the occasional rabbit, or, it's just eerie quiet. It's not what I'm used to.
It was very quiet during my watch.
I felt the same way. It was weird.
Yes, I didn't hear a thing on my watch.
I mean, it could. The tower would be the obvious answer, but this was before the tower got turned on.
Yes.
Strange.
I don't like it here.
I think we'll just continue on until we can,
Till we stumble into your trap.
Make our way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Hey, I didn't roll the 8 on the weather die. You're progressing and keeping an eye out for any signs of things. What you are finding is again, it's the absence of something, but like the plants that Shaft you would be able to in a pinch forage edibles from, like berries, blooming plants that you survive the climate up here. Those like types of bushes, like those have been picked clean. Like there's nothing left for you to be able to forage. So clearly something or somebody has been through and has already done as much foraging, like just clean this place out of anything that's edible or anything that looks like it would sustain life.
If I was to look closely, I'd tell Falzarin to stop for a second, get off and look at one of these bushes that have sort of been, I assume there's still remnants of the roots of this bush, right? If it's been picked clean. I want to take a look and see does it look like it's been cut? Does it look like it's been chewed off? If it's been chewed, can I surmise what kind of beast might have been?
There are certainly signs of like things being like clipped off, like missing sections of it. But other than that, it looks like it's been like this like a snowberry bush, right? It looks like it's just been picked, in addition to some of these clippings that have been taken.
So I can surmise it's not an animal. It was some intelligent creature has come and cleaned this out for foraging.
Correct.
What do you see, Shaft?
Somebody or something has been picking all the food from around here. That's probably why there's no animals around. There's nothing for them to eat. And, I mean, it's been clipped, obviously, and all the berries are gone, so this is really weird. I've never seen anything like this before.
So the Neogi and their army have been through here?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I don't know what Neogi eat.
That's a good question.
Would I know what they eat?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they would subsist on, like, they're omnivores, right? It would be meats and vegetables, much like a humanoid.
Hard to say that it would be them specifically, Shaft, but it could be.
I hop back on Denny.
I would say, obviously, all of you know that many of the creatures under their control that you've seen have diets similar to yours as well, like omnivore diets. Like, especially, obviously, orcs and, like, giants would be consuming these types of things as well.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's the armies have passed through here. Cleaned everything out. Let's go.
Okay, could everyone make me a perception with a disadvantage, please, as we continue?
10 for Mia.
22 for Shakara.
Wow.
16 for Shaft.
15 for Falsey.
The sounds of battle and bellows starts to pick up again as you are progressing. Mia, it sounds like it's coming from behind you. Shaft and Falzarin, you kind of put it more to your left. Shakara, you can hear it straight ahead. As it seems like it's all around you.
Battle ahead.
No, it's over there. You can hear it.
Yeah.
Listen.
That's where I hear it.
It's coming from straight ahead of us.
No, it's behind us.
What?
Oh, wait, stop. Everybody stop for a second. Does the sound seem to change direction for us as we turn our heads and try to pay attention, or does it still come from the directions we heard?
It's still from the directions you heard, and you can hear now the stomping of snow, like crunching underfoot, and again just people screaming. Shaft, who speaks Orcish? Whoever speaks Orcish would recognize that the bellows are in Orcish.
Falsey does.
Falzarin, go higher. See what you can see.
All right, Shaft, you want to come with me?
Yeah, sure.
So I will try to go relatively straight up. I don't want to lose Shakara and Mia. Let's see if I can see anything.
Okay, again, you have 30 feet of visibility in the fog.
Yeah.
So you begin to lift off, and Shakara, you hear footsteps coming towards you again from the same direction that you heard the battle. And Falzarin, because you speak Orcish, you just hear someone yelling, "Forward, forward, catch it!" And in your purview, as you've taken off, a Nyogi breaks through the fog into your vision where you can make it out, and it kind of like skitters as it's seeing you too, right? It's limited by the same vision. Skitters to a stop in the snow, as if to immediately turn from you. Looming from behind it, the massive figure of an orc with a big axe, stepping in, swinging down on top of it, slicing through its eel neck. Shaft and Mia immediately recognize Hork, and he looks up at the group of you, at Shaft. "Hey, Tobias! Hey, did he get you alive? Are you?"
Hork, you're alive!
Hork!
Jump off of the broom.
I jumped off Buttercup as soon as I saw the Myogi.
I told you I met Hork.
Yeah, but I don't believe half the things you say.
Same with you, but this is great.
Run over to him and... Wow, how have you been, my friend?
Hey, how did it go on down here?
Yeah, whatever.
What is he saying? Who is this?
He said he's still fighting the good fight. This is Hork. This is a guy I met in Altajik at a bar, and he... I don't know. He knows Shaft. We figured it out a little while ago.
What's happening? Are you pushing these guys back?
I'm ready to head out of the west! And he charges back into the fog, like the direction he came with his axe raised.
I follow him.
I will follow Shaft.
A lot of you charge. Shakara and Mia still astride Buttercup, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll climb back up on Buttercup and then chase after him.
And he's just barreling forward, sprinting back the way he came, and you can see like this trail. The little Nyogi steps in the snow, and his big orc prints that he's backtracking on, and you come into, again, limited by the visibility of this fog, but now all of you can clearly tell where the sounds of the battle is, right? At the limits of your vision, you can see the fog taking this like green hue as blasts of magic kind of split around everywhere, and Hork meets up with two other orcs as they're cleaving down into more Nyogi. Just a frenzy of in the limited vision you can see just this frenzy of battle, and very quickly though without your aid it seems to subdue and calm down, and Hork is kind of bouncing around. I assume Shaft is just going to stick kind of close to Hork as...
Yeah, I don't want to lose sight of him.
Yeah, and it would be very easy to do so within the fog, right? As Hork is moving from kind of like foe to foe, helping these orcs that he's clearly fighting with, right? And Shaft, you recognize colors from, like, it seems like every tribe here is represented. There's at least a dozen different of these orcs in mixed tribal colors, most of which they're wearing is it looks faded, it looks worn, it looks torn, right, and almost like they're in tatters, kind of amidst their own kind of survival gear, right? But kind of the there's one last Nyogi that gets surrounded by these orcs, right? They have it just cornered, circled, and you come up to Horik in the middle of the circle, teeing off with this Neogi is another burly orc with his own axe and a golden chestplate he wears. Shafton falls and recognized Clash, Bone Collector, delivering the final blow to this Neogi.
I walk up and look. Now this, when you describe this golden chest plate, does this look like
All our heads turned
a
and
golden
perked up.
chest plate that would be part of this armor?
This chestplate you have actually seen Clash wear before. When you and Falzer met him, he had this chestplate with him, and yes, it now from being familiar with the pieces of Kalar, like this plate looks pristine. And you know, the last time you saw him, he was going off again to find Horik and those fighting their guerrilla warfare against the Neogi. So clearly he's left you to do battle, assuming he's been wearing, like, it's still pristine, not a mark or scratch on it.
I'll sort of grab onto Horik and go, it's great to see you guys. And I look over at Clash and go, and you too. How are you guys killing these things? How are they not taking control of your minds?
Hey, I know you. You're with Happy. Where's Gozer?
Unfortunately, Gozer has fallen.
And he does look for a moment like sad at this news before kind of righting himself. You were with her when she died?
Yes.
A good death?
A good death. I reach in and grab the amulet that I had just looked at in my bag just earlier that has the pearl on it and hand it over to Clash.
What is it?
This is Gozer's. It should go to someone from her tribe.
It gives you a nod again, and we'll keep it with him then. Where have you come from?
Well, first off, are you working with the Paladins?
We're not working with anyone but those you see here.
That works. I mean, we're just against Neogi. Perfect. Same side.
Are there only Neogi up here? Have you run into any other beasts that they have working with them?
Orcs, giants, insectoid things.
Ah, I see. Yes, they have spread their forces far and wide, unfortunately.
I'm sure you noticed the blue light that started last night.
We were almost caught in it.
Yeah, I'd stay out of that, but that's the way paladins are kind of fortifying their front lines. Anything in that light will wither and weaken.
Your chest plate. I sort of tap on it with the back of my hand. Tink, tink. Where'd you get that?
This has always been mine. Has always been in our tribe.
I've heard of. I mean, I remember the last time we met. I saw you had it, but I've heard about this. It holds some kind of powerful magic.
It is key to my strength.
There's someone looking for it.
Who?
Well, it's the person who's responsible for the blue light.
He says with it he can defeat the Neogi.
And free the orcs.
That's part of the plan. You're enslaved. We could free you.
He said he can defeat the Neogi. What happens after that, we do not know.
But defeating the Neogi severs their grasp on your minds.
Halfman, you believe this can work?
I do.
Yeah, I think we give it a chance to take it to David to get rid of Ninogi.
Yeah, I know. That would be great, wouldn't it?
It's like a Jamaican Scotsman. It's like
Oh, it's not supposed to sound Jamaican. I'm not trying to do that.
So, we could take you to meet this person. We all have a common enemy and a common goal. Would you be willing to travel with us?
Only if we will be killing Nyogi on the way.
Yeah, I think we're all for that.
I've got no problem with that plan.
Good, we're headed southwest.
Or west-south, depending on how you say it.
Exactly.
You should meet Samuel. I think he could tell you about what he plans to do if he were to finish his collection of armor, including that chest plate.
Yes, Clash, apparently this chest piece that you're wearing is part of a larger set of armor that has been passed down through this man's family over the generations, so I think it would be good for you to meet him.
The armor was separated long ago because of its power. Bringing the pieces together will make this man very powerful.
Yeah, we need to get there, so if you guys can come along, you can tell us what's happened along the way. Horik, where have you been, my friend? On Sunday?
Falzarin, do you understand anything he is saying?
I have no clue what he's saying, Shakara. I don't know how Shaft understands him.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
He said that we should trust Shaft and I, because he knows us. He can vouch for us, so...
You understand that?
Yeah.
What language is he speaking?
I think... Commonish?
I think he just has a very strong accent.
Hork!
He's speaking Horic.
Horcish!
But he was telling you, Clash, you should come with us.
He kind of looks around at the dozen orcs and half-orcs around him, and they all kind of like nod, like as if like we should do this.
For Gozer.
For Gozer.
Aye. For the happy then.
I think we'll just start walking. I just trying to get the story from Horik as we go. Asking a lot of questions.
Yes, tell us the story, Horik.
That last Nyogi was killed, right?
yes.
Kind of interrupted.
No, he's just chilling. He just crashed out.
Waiting for us to have a
Slowly
discussion.
bleeding out.
It's like in a video game, just sort of bouncing back and forth. Yeah.
So yes, Horik, speaking in his specific dialect, will kind of explain to Shaft. I mean, and his encounter with Mia in Altenshik, and essentially from there, for the last number of months, he's been with Clash and the surviving orcs and half orcs from the mountains that they've been able to find and or liberate, and they actually take you back down the slope of the mountain, right? You're not immediately heading on your way, because this is not actually their entire force. This is only a small band of the orcs they've been able to liberate from the Nyogi, and also have gotten over to their cause, essentially, right? It's almost as parallel efforts to what Samuel's been doing, but obviously on a much smaller scale and a much more brutalistic scale, which may be more in line with possibly the thinking and the tactics that an orc, having lived in the mountains through brutality and savagery their entire lives, are more accustomed to, right? But I mean, they seem more than welcoming though for the lot of you, and it does look like their numbers, you can put them at maybe about 100 orcs and half orcs, and actually there are humans among them as well, of which you'll kind of learn that the people here are Altenshikians, as that city, you learn, has fallen to the Nyogi since Mia's departure from it. Through the efforts, even the many efforts of this band of guerrilla orcs, by the time people were made aware of what was going on in the city, and any amount of efforts were put into to quell this enslavement of the Nyogis, were just there. They were just in seated in too deep, coming in through the wagons of which these people have ambushed dozens of these transports, right? Just trying to do what they can. Again, though, it all seems like very small scale, right? It's like they're trying to stem this tide, this overflow that they just couldn't possibly stop on their own.
Alton Shickians, eh?
Yeah, we call them shickers. So we go back to where the rest of their tribe is.
Yes, the rest of their forces. It's not far from where the skirmish kind of took place, and that fog's still limiting visibility. Clash will also tell you that, you know, they've done their own mapping of the area and scouting, and they have and know the location of a number of like cave openings that lead into underground tunnels, of which they haven't actually ventured into, but places they know where they can set up ambushes around. And he'll fill you in, like, he'll basically explain the foraging that they do around here is just incredibly limited, like the numbers that they are. So that kind of a deforestation, it's due in part to them, but also in part to the Neogi and the forces themselves, because they need to feed, right? The thousands of them that are in these mountains, they need sources of food as well. So
rabbits.
You get the kind of these gaps filled in for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to share with both of them a lot about what we've learned.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your moldy meat.
No, I don't give that to my friends. And so any things about who the paladins are, who Samuel is, are some of the concerns about they have a big army and they have a flying ship and they have those kind of things, and sort of fill them in so when we do actually meet Samuel with them, they're in the know and know what they're getting into.
Kind of get back and you have this exchange of information here. And there's anything specific specific question that you might want to pose to them, rather than me have, just exposit everything all over you? Is there anything specifically that you think you might want to ask Clash?
Exposit all over
after
us.
the recording.
Exposit us, Leland.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, other than just, like you've already sort of told us what they've been up to, and I can't think of anything specific that we'd have to ask Clash. Since they're there, it's hard to talk to everybody else, but I would assume I'll sort of take Falzern aside, because we've been together the whole time, and to sort of go, do you think Sammy's gonna let him walk away with that chest plate? If Clash decides he doesn't want to give it to him, this could go really poorly.
Yeah, you're right. I hate to think of potentially leading him into a death trap if he doesn't want to give it up, but what other choice do we have? I don't know. We could try and reason with him and have him give it to us.
Might be worth a try.
Yeah, I would hate to see what would happen to him and potentially some of his tribe as well if they all got in the mix and a battle broke out.
Alright, let's go talk to him. And I think we'd go over to talk to Clash and say, and sort of tell him very clearly, instead of what we thought we had a conversation. Would you be willing to give up that chest plate to complete his armor for this power that he says he'll possess to kill the Neogi?
He pounds his chest, the plate, right? This is a symbol of my tribe and the control of it. A tribe that is no more. A symbol that represents nothing. If giving it up means it will mean something again, I will do so.
Well, thank you, Clash. Like I said, I don't know what will happen after the Neogi are dealt with, but I think this is everyone who lives in Aspara. I think it's in everyone's best interest. I think Samuel Cultus, who wants to use this armor, may have the best shot at ridding us from this plague. Now, Clash and anyone else, I met a man who told us a tale of his father coming up to the mountains in search of some flowers. Now, he was a dwarf. Does that sound familiar? It would have been quite some time ago, but was there ever a dwarf who passed through these mountains that you came across?
None that I can recall personally. We did not get many visitors in the mountains.
Yes, I imagine it would have been a fairly dangerous journey for him, but I thought I should ask. I don't know when I'll be back in these mountains. And we had told him that we would do our best to try and find his father.
Well, specifically on Mount Necrosis. Has anything changed in the mountains since I last saw you?
We have yet to venture that far in to the range. Our efforts have been aimed at limiting spread from the mountains themselves. I have not been to the peak in many months.
Well, these Neogi seem to be, with digging lots of tunnels all over the place. I don't think they stay up top very often, do they? Do you have to drive them out?
We hit them when we can. They are difficult. Those creatures they control cannot be lured. They obey entirely. If they are to stand in one spot, they will continue to do so until told otherwise. Nothing will deter them.
The ability to control minds that these Neogi creatures have is impressive. It makes them be quite a challenging foe.
We have suffered many losses to it. They must be the first to die in any skirmish. The Neogi. If one of ours falls victim to their abilities, an act of violence against them will often snap them of it. You must act quickly, though.
So these, you've seen these trench diggers, these Umberhawks that were controlled by the Neogi. Have you killed their masters, and the Umberhawks become more of a docile creature?
We have witnessed communication attempts. Not even Hork can understand them.
So, impossible to understand.
No amount of magical ability will ever allow you to understand them.
No. Well, my friends, I think we should gather our equipment and head to meet Samuel. The sooner we provide him with the necessary means to dispatch these creatures, the better.
Yes, I'm very thankful that our paths crossed. I think we'll be much safer traveling with you and your party here. This is treacherous terrain here, and I'm glad to have company to travel with.
I hope you can visit my tribal lands free of conflict very soon.
Yes, and I as well, Clash. I look forward to the day. The people of Aspara have lived like this long enough.
He nods in agreement.
All right, Horik. Well, we'll take your answers for it and not on.
Ha! Scuba back.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. Good times.
That's it. End of the show. Thanks for listening. But before you go, I got a couple of things I want to tell you about. You can find the Incorrigible Party all over the interwebs. You can just go to incorrigibleparty.com and you can find all the links there. While you're there, check out the Patreon. There's some really cool stuff you could do with the Patreon, like give inspiration to Shaft. Or, you can waste it and give it to one of those other mooks. Even worse, you could give it to Leland. Also, you can get access to mini campaigns and other cool stuff that we do. You're automatically entered into all contests. I mean, it's really a great deal. The Incorrigible Party is sponsored by Critical Hit Design. All ambient sounds and music provided by tabletopaudio.com. Intro and outro music is by Josh Jarvis, and you can email him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com if you need any music stuff. Okay, that's it. Now you can go. Happy adventuring!